Hi, everybody. This is Dan Selcke of winnerscoming.net. I'm here with Mia Johnson of fansided.com, virtually speaking. We are still holed up in our homes because the coronavirus is ripping the world infrastructure asunder. Mia, how are you doing?
Doing all right. I think I'm going to make a supply run today, get a little fresh air. I call it supply runs now, not going out for, I will. Keep your distance. How about you?
It's fine. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of an introvert sort of anyway. Like, I go out, of course, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm sort of enjoying it so far. I mean, I know it's insensitive to people. We'll get to that. And thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hey, Julie, good to see you here. Everyone else watching. We're going to keep going over the news you need to know, have the insights you want, talk all things fantasy, sci-fi, Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, Star Wars, Mandalorian, the Westworld, etc., and so forth, that you could possibly know up to you in the state of the world as it revolves around entertainment, which is going through a big shift right now, obviously, because the coronavirus is, affecting all businesses in every part of the world, although there are some hopeful signs that we're going to talk about in a minute. Hey, Terry. I thought we would start because I think that we're both into this at this point with the new episode of Westworld, The Winter Line. So let's start with the Game of Thrones cameo, shall we?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the episode too, but we got a Game of Thrones return. David Benioff and Dan Weiss, cultural pariahs, managed to show up in a cameo on this episode of Westworld, which is, of course, about robots rebelling against their masters and going crazy. And they were two Delos techs working at the company that makes Westworld with special guest. And Julie, by the way, I am covering Devs. I'm going to watch Devs tonight. I've decided to. So it looks good. I like the recommendation. I've heard a lot of good things about it. But yeah, they turned up as a couple of devs in the park just talking about how they're going to break Drogon down for parts and ship them to Costa Rica, which was apparently a Jurassic Park reference, by the way.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, I guess.
They're turning up.
Yeah, you know what, though? I think you told me before the episode even aired, because I had seen it, about the cameos. I did not even know that was them at first. What really got me was the dragon. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's like they're clearly giving you...
Yeah. Right. And a lot of people now are wondering if, some people are like, well, is Westeros like a Delos Park or, all that. What I find interesting, though, is that I believe the showrunners are Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy.
Yes.
They've done a couple interviews and they were talking about basically how it all came together. And it was kind of like in part with Benioff and Weiss, and also part with George R. R. Martin, which is interesting. Because they were like, yeah, we're good friends with D&D, and we wanted to figure out how we can incorporate them into the show. But also I had read that George R. R. Martin was also a fan of the show. And he was the one who was really gunning for like some sort of crossover. So it's like, you could call this a crossover cameo, whatever you want. But I think it turned out really fun. It was something for, the fans to be like, oh, look at that.
It was fun. I mean, I saw folks saying like, oh, it's too cute, took me out of it. I'm like, oh, come on. It was like a cute little nod. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to believe Westeros is a Westeros world or whatever, fine. But if you think it's a cute little thing, too. I mean, George R. R. Martin is a nerd from a long way back. I mean, he's worked in TV. He works on this thing called Wild Cards that is like a big shared superhero universe that he's always talking about, nobody cares about. But it doesn't surprise me that he'd be totally up for a crossover thing. He is that kind of guy. He's all for crossing the screens.
One caveat, though, somebody was like, I think this might have been Polygon. They had mentioned in the Westworld movie sequel, Future World, there's actually a part called Medieval World. And so that also takes some of the fun out of it as well. It's like, well, it's just basically, taking from Future World. But, it's whatever you want. Yeah. They're like, we'll neither confirm nor deny what it is. So you can have fun with it.
Of course. I mean, it's not like we're going to have season 4 is all about, we're like revealing that there was a narrative about the entire time.
Yeah.
Fun thing aside. As the episode itself, I really liked it. I think the show is working on getting me back this year. I think it's been a little more fun, a little more snappy. I like this one. I like Maeve as a character a lot, Fanny Newton. I think it's always a good choice to revolve a thing around her because she has like a humor that Dolores scenes just don't as much.
Yeah.
Just like a bit of a lightness and a sassiness, and I like her quips. And just it's she's just fun to follow more than say Dolores. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll say for this episode, it was kind of like, because the first episode was very much Dolores, and this episode was very much just Maeve. There was like no Dolores whatsoever, besides like a few, utterance of her names. And this was the episode that actually last week was kind of like, for me, because it was completely Dolores. But now that they brought Maeve back, I was like 100% in. And because they went back to the parks, but they also had this like super meta like simulation thing where it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Which the drunk guy or whatever who was in last week's episode was talking about, what if it was a simulation, and within a simulation that'd be so weird. Yeah. And I was like, I'm on to you. I knew that was going to come up later.
Was I the only person who thought about the episode of Rick and Morty where they were in a simulation and he did the exact same thing where he like overloaded the processors so it stopped able to escape? Like, it was a dramatic version of that. But it was very Westworld. It was very like kind of trippy. It was very mind-blowy without being really obnoxious and preachy about it, which I think is a good place for the show to be in. So far, I'm liking the return. Although I have a question for you. Ratings are down, at least live ratings are down. Do you think maybe the show... Because I can imagine the people that the show lost folk last season, where, again, to me, it was a little too long-winded and didn't seem really know where it was going and too up its own butt a little bit. And I think it's improving now. I think it's just I love how straightforward it is. I like that it's having a little more fun. That scene where the robot with Maeve's core was like running through and like knocking folk over, that was a good time.
Yeah.
It was really fun. But I wonder if it's just lost people that's not going to get back.
Probably, maybe people are waiting just for the rest of the series to come out so they can binge it all the way through. But I can definitely see that. It's like a lot, because I pretty much binged it front to back without, I could set my own parameters. And so, like, if ever there was a mystery that I was, like, clinging on to, I could literally just hit the next button and be like, okay, time to figure out what happens next. So I can see that for some viewers where it's, like, even for myself, sometimes it's just not a priority to catch things when they air. But, yeah, I don't know. I would imagine some people were really just confused. I see a lot of people who are still confused this season about, like, what's going on, what's happening. And maybe they're done with the games. They're like, I can't take it. To me, of course, I'm still hanging in. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the season ends. I'm at least, curious to see what happens and if they want to wrap up this season or keep going.
Yeah. And as a plus side, this season is going to air in its entirety, which is not what we can say for some other shows that are currently being pushed back. By the way, hello, Jen, Shelley, hello, everybody else who's joining us. Hope you're having a good time. So I thought after that little fun jaunt about talking about robot apocalypse, let's talk a little bit about the crumbling state of the entertainment industry as it tries to grapple with the still ongoing coronavirus crisis. Because there's a lot of stuff that's still going on. We're still seeing cancel. We're still seeing pushbacks, and we're starting to see it for like TV shows that are in the middle of running, which is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
So let's see. We got The Walking Dead World Beyond. It's going to be this Walking Dead spin-off show they were going to do. Just ended up getting. It's not going to air. Like it was going to air April 12th, right after Walking Dead finale. They're just going to. I think it's all shot. It might not be all like post-produced, but it's all shot, and they're just going to not air it for a while anyway. Mm-hmm. The Walking Dead Season 10 finale, which is going to air April 12th, is just not going to be aired either. So the season's going to end with the second-to-last episode, which is going to be strange. Same thing with Supernatural. I think they aired the last episode we'll see for a while this past Monday, and then they're just like, that's it for a while. Sorry.
Yeah. I think, does Supernatural? No, you might be right. Okay. I'm trying to, it's like so much to keep up with now. You're like, oh my God, okay, this thing is being moved
like
to this thing isn't actually being moved. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the big one you're going to say.
Oh yeah, and then on the movie side, we got like Wonder Woman 1984 got bumped from June to August. Which again, you look at that and you think like, okay, so if they're sure that we're not going to be back in theaters by June, that's too bad. So we're at least in this for another couple of months until they want to release things again. It's surprising because like I'm so used to like watching HBO and Netflix shows that I forget that like some other shows like Supernatural or The Walking Dead, like, oh right, like you don't like film all your stuff and do it all.
Yeah.
And put it all. Like you have to do this as you go sometimes, which is the way most shows work. So it's fine. But so that surprised me, like, oh, like now like shows that are running right now are being interrupted. And it's unfortunate, and I wonder I wonder if we'll live to like be in like a total entertainment dead zone at some point, like a couple of months.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that. I know what's interesting is that I do get like email updates from AMC, who airs Walking Dead, and specifically for World Beyond, I had gotten screeners, some episodes to review, which I was like, it's not really for me, but I was aware that they had episodes to review. Right. And then, like yesterday, the day before, they were like, "Wait, don't publish any reviews because we're gonna postpone everything." And I was like, "Hey, you don't have to tell me twice." But that was really interesting. And then to see yesterday about The Walking Dead, which they really just had a big episode with Michonne, which I know about. I don't watch, so I won't spoil anything. But yeah, it's really interesting to think now that it's like people just kind of have to wait and unfortunately deal with it. I think in Supernatural's case, they were saying like something was filmed or whatever they had, but the post-production team is like on hiatus, so that's kind of sad. But yeah, though I will say for Wonder Woman, though, I am so glad that they're giving her a big screen release still, and not, I figured VOD, video on demand, wasn't going to be an option, but I'm like, now I'm just happy to know for sure that she'll still be in theaters.
What's the thing, like, have we heard yet about a movie that got delayed that they're just going to put on demand? Like, so far, because they've delayed, like, like they've, like, pulled the New Mutants, they pulled some Scooby-Doo thing, they pulled some horror thing from, I forget who, from James Wan. But I don't think I've heard of, like, we're just going to put it on VOD.
The one exception, which I heard yesterday, was... oh my gosh, Lovebirds with Kumail Nanjiani, which was supposed to, it got kind of like, I think they were supposed to be at South by Southwest, and they got knocked from that, and then it was supposed to have a big release, so that is coming to Netflix. But otherwise, yeah, you're right, pretty much every other movie, and I think it makes sense. Like, if it hasn't come out yet, I think it deserves to still have a theatrical run. They'll get their money eventually. It's like, just not now.
I mean, hopefully, like, I wonder if, like, for right now, we haven't heard about that much. I wouldn't be shocked if it does come to that. Like, if this goes on for, like, another 2-3 months, like, I'll bet someone will crack. Because eventually there's not going to be enough room in the release schedule. Like, you got to get your stuff out there while you can.
Yeah. And you know what? I did hear, or I've read that the Universal movies like Invisible Man and Emma, like, they're all getting good returns now. People are, choosing to watch at home. It's like, we really got nothing better to do anyway. So, why not give them $20 to rent a movie?
Oh, yeah. Netflix subscriptions or viewership is way up. I'll bet Disney Plus is. Isn't it weird that, like, there are some businesses this is actually kind of helping, like these streaming companies? Probably like, cha-ching. Just a little bit.
I guess it's like, there's like, well, we closed our doors, the parks aren't running, we can't do this, can't do that. So even though somebody said the Frozen 2 thing was a conspiracy because Disney closed their college program, and so they wanted to get the press away from that, which is sad. They have their, like, they bring people from all over the world to do the Disney program, and so that was unfortunate. And then it was like, and then they released Frozen 2 the next day. But no, yeah, it is kind of.
I feel like the media has enough to write about right now that it's not going to pay over attention to that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to call BS on that little series.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, yeah, thank goodness they've got like these things in their back pocket to kind of keep them going, and streaming is really showing to be a viable option. And then it's like, yeah, in the future, are we just going to get used to this and be like, well, I want to watch Birds of Prey at home, so, give me my movie now.
Sherry says that Instacart and Uber Eats are thriving. That's a good point. It was kind of like that. It's kind of, I don't know if it's like lucky or unlucky that this happened now. Like if this plague hit like 20 years ago, like we would have like your movie collection, and I hope that's enough for you. At least we have things to like tap into. By the way,
I think about that. Yeah.
Jen asks, "Is The Witcher on hold?" Yes, everything's on hold. Yeah, everything's on hold for right now. No one's really doing anything. And yeah, Julie, I agree. Some people saying it's a conspiracy or something that bugs me. Yeah, I mean, people love conspiracies in general.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, I'm not into it, but it's also, as we're all huddled up in our homes, trying to pass the time. It is, I think, making some of us do some things that are a little silly. And that includes people like us, people who are a little more famous and wealthy than us. For instance, what do you make of Gal Gadot's, who plays Wonder Woman, speaking of Wonder Woman, attempt to gather celebrities together to sing individual lyrics of John Lennon's Imagine. Maybe we'll watch a clip from it first, and then we'll...
let's see.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living.
All right. So those are a bunch of movie stars singing Imagine to each other in a video. Okay, so this came out, Mia, like a week ago, a little less than a week ago?
Yeah, I think everybody has lost track of time, so it has happened at some point between this week and
Wednesday.
How? The days don't exist anymore.
What do we do? Okay. I mean, again, we're lucky because we're at work, I cling to that. So I'm more there. Although, God, I hate not being able to like ride my bike into work, or like I feel like I'm atrophying here. But anyway, that video came out and almost immediately got a ton of blowback. Basically, for people accusing people of, oh great, all these rich folk who have giant homes are going to sing Imagine to me, and that's going to suddenly make it so my landlord won't evict me, or that I'm going to have enough toilet paper to last through this. Good job, Amy Adams. I'm so glad you can riff on the John Lennon lyric. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it really, you know what, at first I thought it was cute, and like I didn't think anything of it. It did like the whole atmosphere of the celebrities being like, oh my God, I'm so bored, I'm just gonna be on Instagram and Twitter all day. To me was kind of like, it's like, well, the rest of us are at home all day in our pajamas too. Like, it's not anything new to us. But yeah, to see, it's kind of like, I get that we want to have this boost in morale, but I also understand where people are coming from, where it's like, this is not, you're putting Band-Aid over like a gunshot wound. That's not gonna, it's not gonna fix anything. It's like maybe, if they wanted to be generous and reach into their pocketbooks and share the wealth, share the toilet paper, hand sanitizer, that would work.
I think Ryan Reynolds donated $1 million.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. He is the one angel. And there's I read of a couple other people. I think Rihanna as well. So yeah.
I thought it was harmless, but just like, and maybe a bit of an ill-considered. Maybe if you should have thought about this for a second. The ones I like most were the ones who are like doing like the Mariah Carey riffs on it. Like going like, imagine all the people. It's like, this is already a weird navel-gazing thing.
Yeah, we didn't need all that.
Mariah Carey had the good sense not to do this. Just be like that. So it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought it was harmless but kind of funny, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there will be weirdly considered things like that. Have you seen the one where Madonna is doing, like, vlogs naked in her bathtub? About how it's
like, ooh, did we need that?
Bring her. We don't have any footage. Sorry, we don't have any footage of that. But people are going to go a little stir crazy. It's just it's going to happen.
Is that I saw something where it said Lionel Richie wants to do another. Was that We Are the World? We Are the Children. It's like
but like it would be all Skyped in.
Yeah, you can't come to the studio and you know what? I also feel like when that song was released, it was still a time where you weren't following celebrities 24/7. To see Lionel Richie and I'm drawing a blank on who now, but together, that was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And I feel like now it's to the point where I see a celebrity every day on my timeline. I'm like, all right, it's great. So to have them all come together, I don't think would have the same impact as it did in the 80s.
As Sherry says, the song was a sweet effort to entertain us, and they weren't able to do it any other way. More or less, I do actually agree. Like, I don't feel attacked by it or anything. I'm happy for the entertainment, frankly. And I'm kind of curious about what other things people will get creative and do within their homes over the next couple of months.
Everybody's jumping to TikTok. Ellen is like calling everybody in her phone book. There's a lot of things.
I guess I gotta get into TikTok, don't I? Okay, we'll try. Julie says everyone is doing it. They can't stand up in the spot for 5 minutes. I think when you take, celebrities who are used to having a lot of attention and cut them off from everything, it's only natural they might do some grandstanding. Well, you know what? Have fun, as long as it makes it funny. And there are signs that the entertainment industry and life in general could recover. So I was happy to see reports yesterday, around the corner of movie theaters opening again in China, like around 600, 700, which is, of course, where the disease began, in Wuhan, in the Hubei province, I want to say. That country has it more or less under control. Like, there are very few to no new cases being reported. So theaters, a lot of 100 theaters have reopened. Which I think, I just want to say, that's good news to hear, because it means there's an end to this, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's the end of the rainbow.
Yes, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And the other interesting part is, because they're opening the theaters again, but because people have, been holed up for a while, they're still a little skittish about going outside and gathering, right? Which I understand. So they're going to re-release things like all 4 Avengers movies. They're going to re-release them. They're going to re-release Avatar. They're going to re-release Inception and Interstellar, which apparently have big followings in China. I didn't know that. Along with a lot of kind of popular Chinese movies that we've never heard of, but are huge hits, like Wolf Warrior 2, which is like a giant movie, but no one's here has seen it because it's only a Chinese thing. But anyway, the strategy of these big re-releases to get people to come back, to kind of say, come on back. It's okay to go out of the house again and go back to movie theaters. Which, again, I think is very positive. It shows that hopefully this is something that we will be seeing, in 2 months from now.
I know, yeah. Yeah, because I know our American president has some ideas about how quickly we should be stimulating the American economy and getting back to things. It's like that one Texas governor who's like, the grandmas are willing to die for our economy or something like that. It's like, ooh, but are they? Is that really the type of rhetoric we should be using right now? So it is. I mean, that started in December, and that was 3 months ago. So I definitely, for it to have gotten to the point where it is now, I definitely don't think we should be running to follow their lead right this instant and opening up restaurants and
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
giving it time.
China's like a preview of where we hopefully will be in 2 months.
So in something 2 or 3 months, May, June, whenever. It's there is, like you said, the light at the end of the tunnel. As long as the government doesn't think now is the time is that time.
Unfortunately, we just have to obviously, hunker down in the meantime and find ways to amuse ourselves. So I'm sure we'll find something. Also, it means that with releases of both Avengers Endgame and Avatar, the ongoing battle to see who can make the most money.
Who will win?
I would have Avatar reclaim the top spot and just not because I love Avatar, because it would reignite like the passion and the trash talk among both sides. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, bring out James Cameron.
Julie says that not for us in Australia, we're just going into winter, so just starting. Does that mean, Julie, that the virus is about to take hold in Australia? Because I know that it's been, going at different rates in different parts of the world. I guess here in the U.S., we're like maybe at stage 2 of 5, and China's like at stage 4, hopefully, and we'll just see where it goes, man.
Oh, God, there's stages.
I completely made those up, by the way. I am not any kind of epidemiologist. I don't know if they're actual stages. But at the same time, there is some interesting news coming out for the TV and movie space. Mm-hmm. For example, for all you Star Wars nerds out there is some news about the second season of The Mandalorian, the very popular and very beloved by me Disney Plus show in the Star Wars universe. Mia, you are a Star Wars fan. What's going on here? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not anything officially confirmed by Disney, but usually everybody gets the scoop before they make the announcement that Rosario Dawson has apparently been cast as Ahsoka Tano, live action version in The Mandalorian, which is something that many fans have wanted, especially people who are a fan of the Clone Wars, the animated show. It's currently on Disney Plus right now. And Ahsoka is a really, really, really important character, like within the fan base and within Star Wars lore as a whole, except for she's just never gotten her due, like in the movies or anything like that. So the Clone Wars is like all the things that happen between episodes 2 and 3. And it's kind of just like, this big mystery about what happens to her. Why don't we see her? So it is going to be pretty interesting to see her resurface in the time after the Empire, which is when The Mandalorian takes place. So, it should be pretty interesting. Some people were a little I wouldn't say upset, but they're like, oh, well, Ashley Eckstein is the voice of Ahsoka Tano. And she has been like the number one person. When people think of Ahsoka, they think of Ashley Eckstein. Sure. So it was a little disappointing, I think, to some of the fans to know that she wouldn't be her in the live action, version. But I think we'll see how it pans out with Rosario, or even how long she's actually going to be in the series.
I mean, I hesitate to say anything about Star Wars fandom. I know they're very passionate, but it's voice acting is different from acting, right?
Oh yeah, And
I can't think of many instances where you cast a voice actor as the actor, like the live action actor, and then it translates.
Yeah. Wow. I can't either, and I think maybe what's.
It's a different skill set. It's not like a.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and so that was it. And what's okay about this? Even if I think this Clone Wars fans are a little bit different from the solid I'm sorry to say Star Wars fanboys. So I do sympathize with them in knowing that, they're a little different. They're a little nicer, but it should be pretty interesting to see. We had a story go up on our website where someone was like, how does she fit into all of this? Which I had completely no idea. They were like, she kind of trained under Yoda. So maybe she knows about what Baby Yoda is and what a species is. And she also knows someone who is kind of like a Mandalorian warrior or something like that. So maybe that might be a connection to how she meets up with Mando and all of them. Nothing super confirmed, but it'd be interesting to find out what happens.
I'm thinking that's confirmed. What do you think of this idea? So I've heard the idea that, and this makes sense to me, that you cast someone like Rosario Dawson, who is, by the way, Sherry says, I can't wait to see her in that hair, which is interesting.
The tendrils,
I'm into that too. So I've heard that, and this makes sense to me, that you cast Rosario Dawson, who's a pretty big name. She's been some big stuff, Sin City, Daredevil. She is a name. It reminds me of Zoe Saldana kind of being cast in Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit. like play like an alien type and gain fame that way. But the idea is that they're going to have her be in The Mandalorian to be in her own show later. Which, by the way, what Bob Iger said that they're intending, which is the former president of Disney, that they want to introduce Star Wars characters in The Mandalorian so they can set them up for like future series. And this sounds about exactly like what he was talking about. Like, get a decently known name as a popular character, have her guest star an episode of like The Mandalorian or two, and then the year after that, the Ahsoka Tano show.
Yeah, I think fans would love that. That sounds brilliant. And she's such a fascinating character because her whole backstory is like, so like Anakin Skywalker was the Padawan of Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka was the Padawan or the student of Anakin. So, like what happens when you're the student of the guy who becomes Darth Vader, and how does that affect your life? So I think that's pretty interesting. And to be one of the few remaining Jedi after, pretty much all the Jedi were executed, it's like, how do you go on with that? And, while Luke Skywalker is doing his thing because he's a Jedi, what was she doing? So I would be interested to see a spinoff with her. Again, I'm not huge in the Clone Wars, but I do know a lot about her backstory. So it does make for some, an interesting TV show.
David Harris at Wick loves the Clone Wars. He's a whole thing tomorrow about how she could fit into the Mandalorian, will be a whole thing. Jen Casey says cash grab. I really like the Mandalorian so far. I really have, but I am wary of like I don't know, of like a whole universe of Star Wars content coming. Like, I love the first season, and again, Disney has been quite good about kind of balancing the quality with the commerce. If you want to go with that, I always do worry that they might glut themselves over. Like, what's so wrong with just having one great show called The Mandalorian? Do we have to have, like, I don't know how many spin-offs you're planning, but I bet it's more than one.
Yeah.
But, I'll reserve judgment until, of course, I see it. And I'm still looking forward to it, and I hope it doesn't get pushed back that much by the coronavirus disaster.
Yeah.
Anything else you're watching, Mia, as we go into us? Like, is it week 3, 2 now?
This is our third show from home, at least for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I started watching Tiger King on Netflix.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that looks good.
That is totally insane. It is so right up my alley. What's funny is that when I was doing a creative writing, this was two things. When I was studying magazine writing and when I was doing a script writing class, I had read this long feature story about this guy in Ohio who kept like this massive zoo, and it just all went to heck. And so what was funny was that such a long story. I wrote a script about said event for one of my classes, which was really fun. And then B, said incident was also mentioned in Tiger King. And so it's like, oh my gosh, it's that whole thing. So this is oddly on brand for me to see this. It's just about this crazy guy who, two guys really, who own, big cats. And it's like fight to protect our animals and these private zoos and all that stuff. And it is a whirlwind, to say the least. So that's what I've been
watching tonight. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you should. Anything else on your watch list?
I'm watching Better Call Saul. It's great.
Yeah.
This time next week, I will have watched Devs because I've heard too many good things about it not to try it. I'm also watching, because I like The Righteous Gemstone so much, the Danny McBride thing, we're watching Eastbound and Down now, too, his former HBO show. And, he is an acquired but delightful taste. So, beyond that, you guys, if you want to listen to us while you are in quarantine, wherever you are. By the way, Sherry, what state are you in? You say 4th day statewide lockdown. Because here in Illinois, I think it's been less than a week since they officially said, since the governor, Pritzker, said, stay home. Like, it was Friday, I believe.
Friday or Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Saturday, 5 p.m. was the official order, but before that, it was, it's been at least a week or two. They've been encouraging people to stay home.
I'm sure that'll keep going. But yeah, if you want to binge us while you're in lockdown, oh, you're in Maryland, says Jen. Cool. Love it. We are available on iTunes, Google Play, wherever podcasts are available. There's also the Wick Club, which is coming out with a new video and article this week. Yeah, it should be. You can buy a Wick Club t-shirt to get into that and get prizes. Julie, yours is on the way. I did put it in the mail. It might take a minute because Australia, but it's coming. And that's that. Yeah, that. We will see you right here, same time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, next Wednesday, here on the Winter's Coming Facebook page. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.